Second month into our road trip, we've left Xinjiang and arrived in the Tibetan Plateau, starting part 2 of our journey. We've finally arrived on the roof of the world, Tibet. Many people say you must visit Tibet once in a lifetime, because this is the place closest to heaven. There's a saying, Tibet is a place lacking oxygen but not lacking faith. I'm a Buddhist. This is a very precious opportunity to come to this mountain of treasure. The Tibetan Plateau is the third pole of the Earth, after the North and South poles. It is also the highest pole. Tibet lies in the southwest of the Tibetan Plateau, spanning an area of 1.2 million square kilometers, making up 1/8 of the country's total area. It is the second largest province after Xinjiang. This is Lhasa, the capital of Tibet. Tibet has a population of more than 3.6 million, of which 3.1 million are Tibetans, so they definitely make up the majority, and the rest are Han Chinese and other ethnic minorities. This is the most famous Bako Street in Lhasa. It is a pilgrimage circuit around the Jokhan Temple, a holy road. Many people worship here. Many people are casting their 5 limbs to the earth. As you see, the hands may be injured, but they keep on worshipping this way around the Jokhan Temple. Tibetans are one of the oldest ethnic groups in China. The ancestors can be traced back to the 7th century, living on the Tibetan Plateau. In the Tibetan language, Lhasa means the Holy Land. Tibetan Buddhism has had its roots here for over 1,400 years. Over 90% of the Tibetans are believers. Is this pine? It means make offerings to the Buddha with pine wood. The Jokhan Temple is open every day at specific times. The devotees are waiting in line to go into the temple. Even outside the main hall of the Jokhan Temple, we can see many devotees. Many of them have been doing the 3 steps 1 mile worship along the highway all the way from Qinghai, Sichuan, and Gansu. Today, there are altogether over 1,700 Tibetan Buddhist temples, big or small, in Tibet. The Jokhan Temple, which was built in the 7th century during the time of the Toba Kingdom, is considered the most sacred temple here and the spiritual center of Lhasa. It has also been listed as the World Heritage Site. So why is Jokhan Temple so high in status? Because back then, Princess Wenchen of Tang brought a life-size statue of the Buddha all the way from Chang'an to this temple, which is now enshrined in the main hall. Many Buddhist devotees think seeing this statue is like meeting the Buddha's real self. This is a place for worship once in a lifetime. How much is this? Turn it once and it's equivalent to praying 1 time. Turn it clockwise. The Bako Street has a history of over 1,000 years. After the 15th century, as the Jokhan Monastery became the center of Tibetan Buddhism, many temples, big or small, were built around it. There were also dormitories for monks, schools, and so on. Many Tibetan Buddhists have moved to the neighborhood, and so an oldest Tibetan living circle was formed. In Bako Street is preserved the most traditional way of life and living in Tibet. Here standing are many old aristocratic residences, government yamens, workshop and tea houses, attracting tourists from all over the country. On both sides of the street are shops for Tibetan handicrafts and religious objects. Let's find a seat. Hello, good day. This is a well-known sweet tea house in Lhasa. It is a place where the locals gather. The Tibetan people's favorite drink is sweet tea. It's somewhat like our milk tea. Here's how. Go get a glass for yourself, put down 1 yuan, and then someone will pour you tea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessings for you. Sweet tea of Tibet. It does look like milk tea. In fact, it tastes like milk tea and it's a bit sweeter. For 1 yuan, you can spend a whole afternoon here. Here in Lhasa's city center, there are so many gold jewelry shops. Your customers are mostly tourists or locals? More local customers. Wow, see this pendant. Isn't this too big as a pendant? You wear it like this? Gold chains. Wow, chunky like that, like a finger. This is not cheap at all. Thousands of yuan or more for a ring.
因为西藏的人是买黄金，就是买那么大的那种，其他的就只是买的话也细细那种。
Only locals could buy the chunky ones. At Bako Street, there is also Lhasa's one and only temple for the nuns, or Ani, to practice Buddhism and live. It is called Changgu Temple.
Annie.
Good day, good day. Hello, your hands are so warm. With a history of 1,300 years, the Ani Zangkong Nunnery was there even before the city of Lhasa came into being. It is said that it's built in memory of Xinjiang Gampo, the ruler of Tubo Kingdom. This temple may be small, but it is highly prestigious.
Be careful, be careful.
Mind your head. Zhongzhang Gampo's meditation cave. Let's have a look. It's down there.
Right, down there.
This is where Xinjiang Gampo
1,300 years ago.
did his meditation.
Yes, cultivation. Because at that time, Lhasa was flooded by the Lhasa River. And then he practiced here and the water receded.
Wow! We can hear them debating. It's so amazing. In the old Tibetan period, many aristocrats would send their daughters here for cultivation. To this day, it is still a classic institution of Tibetan Buddhism. A lot of young women see it as a goal in life to get enrolled. Every afternoon, they would have debates on the scriptures here. This is a compulsory course in Sutra Scripture Studies of Tibetan Buddhism. I see some of them are very young.
They're at the elementary stage of Buddhism studies.
What about age? From 18 to...
It doesn't make a difference. The elder ones, the oldest nun is maybe 80?
80 years old.
Yes. Back then, only the ladies from aristocratic families could come here. But now, with religious freedom, from whichever city you were in Tibet, once you were 18, if you can meet the nunnery's requirements and you're ready to come yourself, we'll admit you to the nunnery according to the procedures.
Next door to the nunnery is this tea house where they sell some snacks for additional income for the nunnery. Their sweet tea is very well known, and there are buns and Tibetan noodles. Your most well-known butter tea. According to statistics, there are over 40,000 lamas, monks and nuns in Tibet right now. They used to rely on the temples or alms by devotees for their old age with little security in life.
In the past, if you fell ill or something, you'd have to pay for treatment yourself. Now the policy has improved. There is the pension scheme. The nuns and monks who fall ill can get 100% reimbursement for medical fees. In the past, there were worries about old age, but none of those anymore. Now the government has a pension for you. It's transferred to your bank account every month to meet your basic needs.
Some say your visit is not completed if you haven't seen debating in the Sera Monastery. So I came to have a look. They're about to start. Located in the northern suburbs of Lhasa, Sera Monastery is one of the 6 major monasteries of the Galut sect of Tibetan Buddhism and a major historical and cultural site protected at the national level. Debates at the Sera Monastery are very well known. Many tourists are attracted here. They are very punctual. Every day from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, a group of Buddhist monks will be debating the scriptures here. What if you don't understand the language? We can still feel it from their body language. They're dancing with their hands. See how they chop with their hands? That in fact symbolizes seeking the help of manjari, the sword of wisdom cuts off foolishness. Some are even awesome. They wave their prayer beads, riding on their power. They hope to defeat their opponents. Debate is also a compulsory subject in the Tibetan education system. They must pass the subject of dialectics to get qualified to become a monk in the future. We have been in Tibet for so long. Let's see what Tibetan food is about. Wow, such a Tibetan feel in this restaurant. Yaks and lamb. This one is called Zampa. Zampa is very important. The Tibetans eat this every day. It's a staple food like rice that we eat every day. How do you eat it? Sometimes they dip it in yogurt. Ooh, it's very sour. Why so sour? It's because it's made from yak's milk, not like yogurt in Hong Kong. For tourists not used to it, they put honey and nuts in it. What is this? Green bits. Oh, so it contains Tibetans' 3 favorites. It has yaks, green bits, and also wheat porridge and steamed egg. This is good. Tibet has undergone great changes in the past few decades. Women can become doctors too. Today we're meeting with a first-generation female doctor in Tibet. Born in 1954, Basang Droma told us, in the olden days, not to mention becoming doctors, female didn't even get to receive basic education.
In the old society of Tibet, women's status was very, very low. You couldn't even have a baby as you wished. You had to get through those 3 laws. There was this movie called Serfs. Have you seen it?
Basang Droma said before 1959, theoretic feudal serfdom was followed in Tibet, where society was ruled by the monks and aristocrats. The status of the common people was equal to that of serfs. 13-article code and 16-article code enforced in Old Tibet divided people into 3 classes and 9 ranks, and women were at the lowest rank. Serfdom means the division of people into different
ranks. At the top were the nobles, and we were children of serfs. Whatever we produced, they would take away. Not to mention going to school, you could hardly feed yourselves.
In 1959, the Chinese government abolished serfdom in Old Tibet and carried out a social reform. Basang and many ordinary Tibetans could go to school, even to university.
Now you see, society is rich. Mortality rates of newborn babies have decreased. Life expectancy has dramatically increased. Average lifespan used to be 32 years.
It was just 32 years.
Around 35 years.
35?
Now it is 72 years.
How about the status of women in Tibet now?
Very high, totally different.
Really?
More than that.
The Tibetan plateau has always been a restricted airspace. The high altitude means extremely high hazard scores for aviation. Yet in recent years, a new project was introduced to let people take to the sky of the holy city and see Tibet in the clouds. Hello.
Hello.
Amongst the male pilots, we see a lady.
My name is Jianrui Yixi. Just call me Yixi. There's this flight route over Lhasa.
26-year-old Yixi was born in a pastoral area. Her parents supported the family of 10 by herding. The family was a poverty-stricken household. She had never seen a helicopter before. That's cool.
Yes. I was in high school. I received a notice at school that a Jiangsu group and the Lhasa municipal government had a joint policy of targeted poverty alleviation by recruiting pilots.
Just 18 at the time, Yixi signed up for it. Not even fluent in Putonghua, but with her resolute character, she overcame the hurdles one by one. She was finally recruited under a program founded by a Jiangsu group and the government, which took her all the way to Nanjing, Jiangsu, and other places for training to become a pilot. What is our flight route today?
We'll fly from Liuwu Bridge to the Intercontinental Hotel. We'll get to see the Potala Palace.
The Palazzo Palace! Wow! It's the Palazzo Palace!
This helicopter is not just for sightseeing. It can be used for rescue. Lhasa, as we can see, is a mountainous area. Helicopters can fly up there and sprinkle seeds. Plants will then grow in the rainy season. It's green belting.
Look at you and I see the Tibetan edition of Triumph in the Skies. You're so cool.
After getting my license, the first thing I did was take my parents for a flight above Lhasa. And we flew to our hometown and landed in front of our doorsteps. My parents were so excited. You finally took us on a flight. I was very happy and very pleased.
So now you have taken your family out of poverty.
I'm independent and I can help share some burdens of my parents.
You're a typical example of women in the New Tibet.
What boys can do, why can't girls do it? What boys can do, we girls can do. Even a better job, too.
Before we came to Lhasa, we did a research online, and we found a Hong Kong-style restaurant run by someone from Hong Kong. Taste of Hong Kong, see? Uncle John.
Hello, Janice.
Hello.
Hello.
It's wonderful we found someone from Hong Kong. You've been here for a while?
10 years.
10 years. Stir-fried noodles with beef. I want wonton noodle.
Okay, I'll cook for you.
Let me help. Uncle Zheng, in his 70s, used to run his own IT company in Hong Kong. After he retired, as he was traveling in Tibet, he found it a great place to start his second life. Thank you. I can't believe it could feel like home in Lhasa. And there's TVB News too.
Now I need bookings and limit the number of customers.
There's too much business to handle.
Why Lhasa? I was here for a visit and I realized it costs very little to open a shop here. Less than 100,000.
The cost of living is low in Lhasa. Many outside people are here to work or do business. But Tibetan food is not for everyone, so Uncle Zheng opened a restaurant. It's open only for 8 months. Then he goes for a break. So you work for 8 months and back to Hong Kong for 4 months.
Back to Hong Kong and travel. Many Tibetans come to eat here. They're well off. Over 90% of the shops are rented from the Tibetans. My landlord is Tibetan. The government treats them very well. Like, how much do you make digging for cordyceps? Only the Tibetans are allowed to dig for cordyceps.
Our travel route next is to the Himalayas, to the southern Tibetan Valley and so on. It will be an area bordering Bhutan, India and Nepal. So what's important? Before you go, apply for a border pass. We've got them. We can go now. We plan to set out from Lhasa and spend a month along the Himalayas, visit a number of counties at the border, entering the Ali region, before returning to the southern Tibetan Valley. There are many rumors about Tibet and legends too. I hope through this trip we can learn more about this region and the people. Let's go. This is Yam Drok Yam So, one of the 3 sacred lakes in Tibet. You are so funny! Why are you wearing sunglasses? The county town of Yadong is located between India and Bhutan. I am indeed amazed. How much money did they spend on that? 240 million yuan just for these 99 households. We're here finally. The base camp of Mount Everest. World's #1 highest peak, Mount Everest. Dancing at an altitude of over 5,000 meters, but no altitude sickness. What do we eat in Lhasa? We've found a Hong Kong people's favorite, hot pot, and it's all you can eat. Unlimited meat and vegetables. Wagyu beef, and of course, the must-try local yak meat. How much is this meal cost? 290 yuan per person. What's most significant about this view of the Potala Palace.